All right, what's going on, guys? So, back with another Sunday watch list. This should be a very, very interesting week. After NVIDIA earnings, we had a really strong move up, right? We had a really strong move up on the SPY and on the QQQ, and we pushed to new all-time highs, and it looks like we're starting to catch a big rejection from this 510 on SPY. I am assuming we are going to come back and retest the previous all-time highs, which is 503. 503.36, and I believe that is going to be the move of the week. Um, Definitely going to be watching a bounce here at 503.45 near that previous all-time high. And if you go to the daily, there's a big gap fill to the downside below that. So there's a either or scenario in that level for either a bounce or a break and retest to the downside. Because this whole move up was just because of NVIDIA earnings. So we don't know if it's really that sustainable, right? But I am expecting a bounce here. As far as economic data, let's start off with that first. So nothing much Monday. Tuesday, we got consumer confidence. It's always important to pay attention to these because you don't want to be in a trade. When these come out, there will be some volatility. It's pretty annoying. So 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. GDP, that's pretty big for Wednesday. PCE, core PCE Thursday. It's going to happen before the market opens. Manufacturer, consumer sentiment. These are the ones you want to be out of any trades. If you are in any trades, probably be out during consumer sentiment, so you don't get caught up in the volatile move. And if you're on the wrong side of the trade, right? So that's pretty much it for this week on on economic data. So that's the move I'm going to be watching for. So these are some three important levels to watch, right? 510. We rejected this area Friday. I'll definitely pay attention to this level as a new supply. 507. 507 played as a bounce level Friday, Thursday, right? We held this level very well pre-market, bounced off of it Friday, and have just been holding, right? So 507 is the break and retest level to get us down to 50 to this 504.5. You see that area. This area is going to correlate with the previous all-time high on ES. So this is a ES level correlated with SPY. And then the previous all-time high on SPY is this 503. So those are two important levels to pay attention to. I want to catch it down from 507 down to those areas before we catch a bounce higher. If we don't even come down there, the level I'll pay attention to is 510 for either a reject or a break and retest. Pretty simple game plan with SPY. Now going into the Qs. You can see that the previous all-time highs was 439, 438.7. Definitely watch that level. You'll see even from back here, that was a previous all-time high back here. We broke it on Friday, retested it, and failed to hold it. We didn't hold above the level. That was actually a trade I took Friday. I was able to catch some of this move down. Um, as long as we stay below that level, I'll be watching the level for rejects. Any reclaim of that, that's where I'll be interested for the upside. Really 440, right? But this 436 area was the low. So as long as we can stay below that, I'll be interested in shorting down to 433.6. And then, right, we had a big gap fill below that, down to 430, 425, which was just that NVIDIA move, right? We really gapped up because of NVIDIA. So you want to see if that move is really sustainable or not. Definitely want to pull back before we start going higher, right? So those are the target levels I'm targeting to the downside. Apple, Apple is the main level is gonna be 180 on Apple that I'm interested in. 180, 181, which is the neckline for this big head and shoulders to see if that does play out. I'm still expecting either a break and retest here or a bounce. So pretty simple on Apple. Amazon showed a lot more strength than a lot of other names that sold off last week, towards Friday. This one held up, so above 175, this can give us room up to, even on the weekly, this still looks pretty strong, right? This could give us room to 177.5, which is this resistance from here, 180, and then the all-time high is at 185. So this is a name to potentially watch for continued upside. Let's go back into Microsoft. I'll cover my favorite setup right now. Microsoft to me just looks like a head and shoulders. This looks like a left shoulder, head, and this right shoulder that's barely starting to form. As long as this keeps rejecting 416.35, so it looks like it'd give us room down to 400. That neckline, right? That's where it'll really start to get a sell-off below that. For the upside, I'd watch above the highs at 420.5. So pretty simple on Microsoft. Now, this is my favorite setup so far, NVIDIA. NVIDIA had earnings, made a really crazy move up, right? 660 all the way up to 800, really. Really made a move to 800. So 800 is that key psychological level. We have a new all-time high at 823. But this pre-market high, after that earnings move, the pre-market high was 775, right? Notice how that day we bounced off of the previous all-time high, which was 745, 746. We bounced off of it, came up, broke the new all-time high, which is a pre-market high here, held it at 772 level, and then we made a move up all the way into 800. Next day we broke above, came back to retest 800. We didn't hold it, and then we came to retest that pre-market high from the previous day after earnings. So that level, that 775 to 772, is going to be a big level to pay attention to see if this holds or not. So if this holds, this is going to be a nice bounce area for upside. If this does not hold, I'm very interested in shorting back to 740 for NVIDIA. Definitely interested in this setup. So just those two key levels I talked about at 775 to 772 is going to be the most important level I pay attention to for NVIDIA. AMD is kind of like in a range. This looks a little bit more bearish because it got a really aggressive sell-off, right? So I'm gonna mark this low here. We have a big supply on AMD here at 184. You see last time what happened here. We got a really aggressive move to the downside, make a move up, move back to the downside, move up, back to the downside. We make another move up, and we're getting rejected. So it's like a big range from 184 to 160. So that could potentially be a target down here if things do get weak. Meta is kind of like in this ascending triangle pattern. 488, 489 is like that supply that keeps struggling to get above, but we are making higher lows here. This could potentially target this trend line if this does start to reject, but I'm not so interested in this setup just yet. Google, I'm not too interested in anything here just yet either. Tesla, this is a name a lot of people are watching this week. If I go to a daily chart on Tesla, you guys will see that, or even a weekly. I start on the 4 hour. So on the 4 hour, you guys will see that we are just, I'm gonna set this. Let's start from the daily here. Make it simpler. So you can see this strong move up right here. You see that daily candle, right? Notice how it kind of almost filled the gap up to 206, right? 206 is the top of the gap fill. This candle here broke up, and the very next day it tried filling the whole gap, but it came back inside this candle. So this is the low of the candle, high of that daily candle. And for the next 1, 2, 3, 4 days has just been ranging inside of that candle. We have a trend line right here to pay attention to. So what I am watching for Tesla is to see if this trend line either holds up, to see if we get a push and we get back above that daily candle, which is that 200 level. Get back above that 200 level, then I'll be interested to fill the rest of the gap to 206. If not, if this trend line fails to hold, it's going to start coming back down to 180, to 182 and 180. So, and then back down to these areas down here. So that's what I'll be paying attention to for Tesla. Other than that, keeping the watch just short and simple. I think SPY Qs and NVIDIA really have potential this week. SMCI as well. This is a name I've been making. I've made over like 4K already off this the past 2 weeks. This is a name that I have been paying attention to. You can see this 1000 level is pretty important. This 1,000 level, and then the all-time high here at 1080. Those now it looks like we're potentially making we had made a high, now we're making a lower high. So it looks like we potentially target this 720 if that's the case, right? If there's going to be a new downtrend. So I'm gonna be looking for areas to potentially NVIDIA is going to be a big leading factor in this as well. So as long as the 700 holds, I mean, that could probably be the area that pushes this name higher. If that doesn't hold, this has a lot of room to the downside, right? But what I'm really trying to see is where can I make a potential entry for short. So I'm thinking the 800 level is going to be a big psychological level. That could give you a 100-point move down to 700, really. So this is the name I'll pay attention to. It's a little bit more high risk. So contracts are a little bit more expensive on this one too. But that should be it. For upside, 1,000 level. Just pay attention to that level. Above that, and gets us to 1,100. With that being said, though, that's gonna be a Sunday watch list. Hope you guys have a great trading week. And like and comment if you guys have any other questions. Peace.